Hello everyone, for MLG TV, this is going to be Nursky bringing you this championship losers bracket round matchup. First off, spawning as our Red Zerg, hailing out of Belgium, has competed in some online tournaments, knocked off some pretty good players such as Moro. He is Orly. And his opponent spawning as our Blue Terran, representing Team VP Gamers. A lot of you will know him from his casting with IGN, Painuser. We're going to be on the map MLG Shakiris Plateau. Ducio really right away going to be scouting the close air positions. It will be interesting to see how the game develops in these positions, since of course Terran drop play and likewise Zerg Mutilus base type harasses are much more potent in these positions, but that's supposing that Orly actually does use the Mutilus style play. Haven't seen a lot of his games, so not entirely sure what his play style is. Do know that he does play for a team called, I believe, Lowland Lions, so should be a halfway decent player. Has knocked off some other decent players in a couple of online tournaments, so should make for an interesting game here. Do see Orly going to be scouting out a little bit early with this first drone. Do like that little bit of an early scout. Does give him a better chance to get a good look of the Terran base. Looks like he is going to be going for a hatch first, and that is indeed what he's going to be doing. Do see over here in Painuser's base, first barracks just about to finish up. Has not taken any gas yet. That initial scouting overlord, as it does peer in, should be able to get a halfway decent count on Painuser's gases before getting out of the base to avoid the first Marine. So should be able to figure out about what Painuser's up to. Looks like he might actually be going for a 1-Rax into expand. Not a totally uncommon play in a TVZ on this map, just because you do have this rather large ramp over here, but still small enough that a couple of barracks or whatnot can wall it off, or maybe even some bunkers to defend it. So it does look like Painuser is going to be going for that extremely fast command center. SCV in position, minerals just about there, and down it does indeed go, so he will be going for that fast command center. So going to be going with a very economic opening. Will force Orly to either apply some pressure to Painuser or maybe even take a fast third. So we'll have to see how Orly reacts to that fast command center upon scouting it. Do see Painuser will get in Orly's base, get a good look at everything that's going on, except actually just barely misses scouting the gas. So did not actually say that Orly's already taking gas, so a little bit of a miss scout there, but not the end of the world. But we do see Painuser is going to be trying to apply some bunker pressure behind this 1-Rax into a fast command center. So we do see that there is some Marines over here on the minimap on the way, but it does look like that Orly is going to react to this in time. Painuser is going to pull his SCV back and is going to have to abort that bunker rush. Just not going to be enough Marines upon that fast expansion to really press that too hard. But nonetheless, we'll waste a little bit of mining time from Orly. We'll make him at least think about defending, although not really overreacting at all, just building a single pair of lings to go scout around the map. So do like that reaction by Orly. Do see Painuser's expansion command center just about to finish up. Going to be throwing down a bunker over here at his front to just defend against Zerglings. Will be extremely good, especially against slow Zerglings that won't really be very good at running by that initial bunker. Probably will have to wall that off a little bit more firmly as the game progresses. Now taking some gas, a couple of extra bunkers or barracks is starting to go up here. Probably going to be getting a tech lab or a reactor on one of these barracks pretty shortly. I would imagine it'd be a tech lab so that he can start getting some of those essential Marine upgrades like stim and combat shields. Ducio really does have his first couple of queens out. Metabolic boost is going to be on the way here. Still leaving just one drone in gas. Don't mind that at all. Will allow him to drone up pretty heavily, maybe even expand, while still being able to at least have some gas income so that he can start to tech up a little bit quicker when he does decide to. Pretty good overlord placement over here, back behind the natural Painuser. Has a little bit of vision on those minerals, so he will definitely know that Painuser has indeed expanded. Going to be putting down some supply depots. Just wall in this choke just a little bit more, make it a little bit more narrow. Do see that Painuser has gotten up the tech lab now on one of those barracks. Immediately going to be researching stim. So both players kind of just getting their economies going right now, and see, really actually going to be putting up a Roach Warren and an Evolution Chamber, so maybe a little bit worried that Painuser could be going a multitude of different things behind this 1-Rax expand. Has only seen the 1 barracks and the first command center in that bunker, so does probably know Painuser Painuser has expanded, but wouldn't know for sure what Painuser's follow-up to that would be. We do see Painuser now poking out here. Looks like he wants to take control of this Zelnaga tower. Not sure he's going to actually push with this. Do see the SCV going forward. No, Marine's just going to back up. Just wanted to maybe force Orly into a position where he might have to build a few forces, and we actually do see Orly with a couple of roaches in production, so it will force a couple of units out of Orly. SCV might get into the base, but no, going to get taken out by that queen before he can actually get into the base and scout all the tech that is up here. Do see that right now Orly has gotten his lair underway, is going to be finishing up shortly. Looking at the income tab right now, we can see right now Orly with a little bit of a lead, 39 harvesters to the 32 of Painuser, but not a mammoth lead here, as Painuser does have those double orbitals to be milling out of. Do see now factories going up for Painuser and extra barracks. Going to be getting a starport as well. Tech lab going straight on that factory, so definitely going to be going with a marine tank type of composition. Third base just now finally going down for Orly. Pretty decent creep spread moving forward across the map now out of the front of Orly's base. So it does have that extra queen to be able to push his creep forward. Do like it when Zerg players are a little bit more proactive about their creep spread. If I could knock a few pros here and there just a little bit, it would be that they do not quite always do that, and a little bit of miscontrol with those Marines, and actually not going to get any kills at all in these Zerglings. They will clean up those Marines easily, as those Marines still without stim right now. So those couple of Marines will be lost there by Painuser. Not going to necessarily be the end of the world, but every unit can count towards the mid game. So we'll just have to wait and see how that actually ends up affecting Painuser, if at all. Do have that third hatchery just about to pop. Painuser right now just two basing pretty hard. Does have a lot of Marines out, going to be further walling in this front here, so will be a pretty solid front despite the fact that it is with supply depots. Now we do see his first couple of tanks are in progress. Siege mode on the way as well. Going to be building some medevacs to support his Marines so that he can actually stem and get those Marines repaired up. A lot of lings and roaches on the map here for Orly. Is getting his +1 to melee upgrades and going with the infestation pit. So no spire going down. Right now just sitting on roach ling. Does got a macro hatchery on the way as well. Taking his gases at his third immediately. So it does look like we're really going to be going with a little bit more of a ling infester style play. Does have some roach support to go with it, but not really any upgrades on these roaches whatsoever. So if anything, those roaches were just as a safety precaution for a little bit of a stopgap before he really can get those infestors up. So we're going to have to wait and see how this does pan out for Orly. Now, obviously, Orly will be a little bit more susceptible to drops, as we do actually see a drop on the way by Painuser. Do not know if Orly is going to be prepared for this. Does not look like he has seen the drop yet. And down will come these Marines. Might actually get a couple of drones kills. Will at least get one or two, maybe even a third drone kill. I'm going to be stimming in here, trying to pick up a couple more drones. Actually getting a lot of drone kills with these Marines. Probably should pick them up now that the army is here instead of losing his Marines, but he's getting so many drone kills. This is absolutely amazing, the damage that this handful of Marines is actually managing to pull off here. If we look at the income tab now, we can see right now, really down to 43 harvesters to the 50 of Painuser, and Painuser even with an expansion command center going up behind this. So really losing a lot of units in that exchange. Look at the workers killed tab. You can see 17 workers killed now for Painuser. So very good drop by Painuser there. Does still have that medevac just kind of hanging out there on the back of the base. So we'll keep that threat of the drop in the face of Orly, and that is exactly the type of play I was talking about. That can be very effective for the Terran player given these positions. And now these Marines need to be careful. Infester's going to get a good fungal growth off. Lings will come in, finishes cleaning up all of those Marines fairly easily. Couple of more Marines now moving forward to reinforce here, but more going to take fungal growth, and a lot of the Marines actually taking a huge amount of fungal growth, but now actually a little bit of a miscontrol with those infestors, losing a couple of them, but there's absolutely no Marines here to support these tanks, and really may actually get all of Painuser's tanks that are forward here. This tank going to be getting extremely low. Do have 3 Marines now stimming in to try and take out this last roach, but no, tank will go down. So that a little bit of an even up exchange there, as a couple of infestors lost, a couple of tanks lost as well. And we see another drop over here at the third for Painuser. Going to be trying to get some more damage done to the economy of Orly. Might even be able to at least take out this single extractor. You see a couple of lings come in now. Here comes the infestors, and the infestors should be able to prevent this from doing any more damage than it has. And we see right now Painuser actually dropping into the main with this medevac full of a couple of Marines, and at the same time we're really actually pressing out against a couple of Painuser's Marines. Might catch a couple of tanks. Do see those Marines now getting cleaned up in the main. No more dropping over here, but another drop going down here at the natural. Looks like he was thinking of trying to focus fire down this infestation pit, but that is not going to be the case, as he did have to retreat his tanks to keep them from getting picked off by some lings. And that last medevac will be cleaned up, so those drops now finally over for Raleigh, but Painuser actually getting some pretty decent damage done. Up to 19 workers killed now, and forcing Orly to attack those Marines in an unfavorable position for his units. We do see Painuser's third is now secure here, going to be moving some of his tanks and Marines out in order to actually properly defend this third base area. It is a little bit light on medevac counts. If we look at the unit tab, just 2 medevacs for the entire army of Painuser. Spire now on the way, and Hive Tech on the way for Orly as well. So Orly does have a pretty decent infestor count now. It does have 3 infestors over here at the front with his army. 3 more infestors, 5 more infestors going to be coming to reinforce us. So a lot of infestors with the lings. Is going to be careful here. Would not want to take some damage from those siege tanks if at all possible. Does have a 4th base now going up as well. But right now Painuser looking pretty strong. Supplies pretty close, 133 to 146. Does have 1-1 on his bio. 2-2 is on the way. No attack upgrades for his mechanical units just yet. Do see it looks like Orly might be gearing up to try and do a run by. Wants to deny this 4th from Painuser. Had a burrowed ling over here to spot, and it looks like he definitely will deny this. This should force Painuser to cancel, and yes, Painuser will cancel. Now going to be sending a couple of Marines forward. Wants to try and pick off these Zerglings if he can, but there's actually a lot of Orly's army just out of sight. We do see those lings now burrowing. Painuser would have to scan to get the rest of those. Now here comes the rest of those lings. Unburrowing those lings. Going to be attacking these Marines from both sides. Should be able to clean them all up. Yes, he will. All those Marines go down for some pretty minimal ling losses. Another ling getting burrowed right there. Taking a little bit of an unnecessary shot there on a couple of these lings. Might actually pick off a tank or two though, but will lose a lot of his Zerglings. But Zerglings is going to be the least of Orly's worries as far as units he could possibly lose. Do see over here now a little bit of a drop, and another big drop over here to the back of the main of Orly. A couple of tanks on the low ground, some Marines on the high ground. The spot going to be trying to lay siege over here to this hive if he can. Doing a lot of damage actually to a lot of these Zerglings. It's just throwing down a Marine or 2 here and there. But now here comes the infestors. Funnel growth going down. A lot of infested Terrans going down as well. And now these tanks should actually be cleaned up. And this drop from a Painuser only going to do a little bit of damage. If you look at the workers killed again, just getting 1 extra worker, but did kill off a lot of units. So really needs to get that medevac back to his main if he can to help support his Marines, as he is pretty low on his medevac number, still just sitting on 2 medevacs still. So really needs to get a couple more medevacs out onto the field. And now we see actually some infested Terran play might be the choice of tactic for Orly here, as we do see these infestors just moving straight by the army of Painuser. Doesn't look like Painuser has noticed them. This could be extremely bad, as they could do a lot of damage to his natural expansion. Is starting to get a little bit low on minerals, but still a lot of gas to be mined here. And there goes down the infested Terrans. Going to be potentially doing a lot of damage here. Painuser really needs to pull these SCVs out of here. Actually going to be losing a lot of SCVs, reacting pretty slow to this. You see Painuser moving out, trying to hit these infestors. Does get an EMP down on all these infestors, which does do a lot of damage to them. Not going to be burrowing. Scan goes down though. Should be able to pick off a lot of these infestors, but we do see these infested Terran over here basically cleaning out his natural mineral line. Now some Bling's going to be coming over here and will pick off this tank. Looks like they will get these Marines as well, as Painuser's not really committing a lot of his army over here. Painuser's still just sitting at 130 supply, actually getting a little bit behind with his production, it feels like. Does have everything hotkeyed up, but right now extremely high on minerals and gas, so a little bit behind of his macro just temporarily. Now starting to catch that all back up, and now it does look like Painuser is going to be gearing up to move out with a lot of siege tanks and some ghosts. And of course, but right now the infestor is coming in. Broodlord's morphing in over down here at this bottom area where he was rallying a lot of his units, and he might catch Painuser's entire army out of position. Do not really have a good attack angle to get after these Broodlords. So right now, Painuser may have fallen right into the clutches of Orly, and Orly is just pulling so far ahead right now. Ghost trying to snipe out those Broodlords if they can, but right now those Marines not able to do a lot of damage, having to scan to actually see the Broodlords up at the top ground, getting one of the Broodlords, might get a second Broodlord, not going to get it, though, does just barely pick it off with the Ghost. Just one Broodlord now remaining, another Broodlord being morphed in. Not sure he's going to be able to get that Broodlord, does just barely manage to get it, but there is one more Broodlord over here. Do have an Infestor on the low ground, now throwing some Infested Terran all over the tanks of Painuser. This is very bad for Painuser, and it looks like his front could potentially get broken here by this Infestor Broodlord play from Orly. Now picking off Painuser's Medevacs, and Painuser could be in a lot of trouble. Do see a lot of units rallying over here. Did have a 4th command center on the way, trying to get a transfer down over there. If these Lings spot that, though, that would be absolutely terrible for him. Can't even do anything because there is that Ling burrowed over there, just mining off of basically 1.5 bases right now is Painuser. Meanwhile, Orly has a pretty strong economy behind this and has not lost a lot of his Infestors for a while. So right now is not in a bad position at all. Bow units are so bad against this. Does manage to snipe a single Infestor, but not going to potentially lose both of his Ghosts. Going to be very close. No, does manage to retain just one of the Ghosts. So that Ghost can move forward, try and snipe some more of these Infestors if possible. But here comes some more Broodlords reinforcing in for Orly, and this could be a huge problem for Painuser, as right now Painuser falling further and further behind onto 121 supply. Now he still has Marines, managed to pick off one of those Broodlords, but still 5 Broodlords, a lot of support by these Corruptors. Painuser with no Vikings to deal with these Broodlords whatsoever, and his Marines are only going to be able to take so much damage for these before he's going to have to just GG out. Now moving forward, trying to snipe out all of these Broodlords, but here comes the Infestors, here comes the Lings, and it looks like Painuser is going to be broken. Down goes to GG, and Orly is going to take game number 1 over Painuser, and we'll be moving into game number 2, guys, for MLG TV. This is Nursky in the middle of a thunderstorm now, saying peace easy, guys.